I'm also trying to check the link simultaneously. I would like to know if I'm audible. If somebody has any issues, they can let me know in the link. We'll give it 5 minutes. Trying to check the link. We'll give it 5 minutes and we'll start, all right? Just give it 5 minutes. I'm hoping some more people will join in and then I'll start the discussion. For all the people who are online, I hope I'm audible. You can hear me. Hi, Ashiyat. Let's wait for some more people and then we'll start. And we'll give it 2 more minutes and I'll go in after two. One last minute and then I'm going to go on. We'll not make the people who are on time wait, which happens always, but we'll just give it one last minute and then I will start. Okay, I've officially waited for 5 minutes, and I think I should not wait any further, especially, thanks to all the people who have come in. I don't want to waste their time. And for whoever joins in later, if you have questions, you can post it on the chat or the live chat, and I will address it for you. All right, so let's get cracking. I am here to discuss with you Hamstech's professional cookery course. And before I go ahead and tell you what I'm going to discuss, let me quickly run you through who I am and why am I talking about this. So I run the culinary department for Hamstech. I'm Preeti Shetty. I have started the course in baking about 2 years ago at Hamstech, and we are doing a really nice run of that course. And this year we've decided that we will, because of the queries we've got along the way, or for people wanting to learn. A lot of our students are existing students from various other departments, and also students from baking who've been asking, about wanting to learn cookery. And we thought this is a good time for us to start that as well, because we see a lot of potential, a lot of interest in people to take up something like cookery and take it up as a professional course, and other things we'll discuss a little later in the conversation. So we've decided to do that, and therefore I'm here to quickly run you through what we want to do in the course, and what is the course all about, how is it going to be useful to you, who should be doing the course, and what can you do after the course. This is sort of the things that we would want to discuss. So I'll quickly run you through a small presentation which will give you a better idea, more clarity on what happens with reference to the course. And what we will do after that is, we are based out of Hyderabad, and we have our labs here where we conduct our classes. We would love to do our, physical classes, but we also have an online module where we are successfully running various courses, including baking, and we will be launching, therefore, online cookery course as well. So you could get a glimpse of how we do the classes for that course. All right. So a little bit of glimpse of that, because I'm going to do a demo at the end of it for one of the products, and you'll get an idea of a how to make that product and how we do the classes in the online medium. And I'll also run you through what happens in the offline if you're physically coming here to our college and learning that as well. So that's the kind of agenda I have on mind. And post that, please feel free to ask questions, whatever questions you have, cookery related, course related on mind. We'll help you best to sort those. And if you're interested in the course, we will also get you connected with our education consultants who could later let you know about the fees and other things. So first, let's understand the course. We'll take one step at a time. We'll understand the course, what are we doing, and why are we doing it, and all those things, and then we'll go ahead. All right. So this is what we are going to look at. Okay, we are looking at these few things in the next few minutes. We're going to look at the the cookery course in general, understanding the structure of the cookery course, then looking at how at Hamstech we will evaluate things for you, and what are the career options you could have post you do the course, and then generally, why you should do the course with us. Right, very important. It's extremely important what you're learning, how you're learning, and where you're learning. Right, so all of those queries are going to get answered here. All right. So moving on. Firstly, everybody knows that there are a lot of culinary courses across the country. There are so many IHM, which is hotel management colleges, and private. There are state colleges, central colleges. A lot of international universities are trying to come to India. A lot of people go abroad to study. So culinary and cookery is part of these courses. A lot of times they are an independent course of 18 months where you learn a lot about production of food, which is cookery, and which is baking, everything that is food related, making the process related, that bit. And a lot of times it's part of the hotel management course, which could be a degree course for 3 years or 4 years. But the the concept of the IHM colleges in the country has been mostly to create workforce for five-star hotels. If you actually go to see the structure, because part of their training is how to do the front office training. Part of the thing is how to do the housekeeping, how to basically make people employable at five-star hotels. In fact, quite honestly, most of these hotel management courses so the colleges itself are either attached to a five-star hotel, or they kind of have this association where the students go become interns for 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, depending on the kind of course they're doing, and then eventually get employed at at a junior level, at the entry level rather. So most of them work like that, and most of them therefore will have prerequisites, like you have to be you just have to finish your high school and join. You have to give the entrance exam and things like that, and you finish your high school and you join. But then most often you have to learn a series of things which you may not be interested in. You're particularly interested in, you know, cookery or baking or making anything related to the kitchen, just that much. So there also they have courses, but they're production courses, which is probably, again, a longish course. Usually a 18 months course is what the general sort of hotel management colleges have to offer. So these are the kind of offerings you have in the market. You have this as an 18 months course or a 3 or 4 year course. And most often people join at the entry level, and then they aspire, if they're interested in the kitchen, then they aspire to become chefs. We use those terms very loosely. They are not supposed to be used loosely as we do. Anybody who cooks well, we say, oh, he's a great chef, kya must chef hai. But that's not how it works. There's a certain you need to be able to do certain things, and you need to work your way up to reach the top of the rank, which is a chef. So you really have to start at the bottom and then you go up. You cannot be, so generally people are cooks actually who cook, but we think chef is a fancy word, we can use it, and therefore we kind of use it very loosely. But there is a certain discourse there, because of which you pass each of that level and reach the point where you become the chef, right? So most of the colleges have to offer this to you, and that takes many years for you to actually become a chef. You cannot just do the degree and you become a chef. It doesn't work like that. And the focus therefore in these courses is mostly like a bulk production or kitchen, restaurant kitchen only. Whereas we are seeing increasing trend now of people wanting to have food from variety of people. We all, as customers, we of course we like five-star experience and things like that, and we go to fine dine restaurants, but we also want to try new things. We want to try things from new people and all those things, because food is one of those things, you don't want to eat just that one thing forever, because you're already, especially if you are somebody who have a household where food cooking is happening, or even if you're not that household, even if you're a household where you order in a lot, you don't want to eat the same thing every day. You may have your favorites, no doubt, but you would want to keep trying new things, new places, new people making food, right? So all of that is changing increasingly. Therefore, we have a lot of people who are interested in food, are trying to make a career out of their interest or their passion in food, whether it's the ancestral food or a fusion food that they create. People are trying to do that. Okay, so this is one kind of offering that is there in the market. The other kind of offering is in the unorganized sector, which is basically somebody who is very good at cooking. They will arrange for a cooking session at their place where people will go and maybe learn a few dishes where they will make and show, and they will probably give recipes, and that's about it. So these are the two ways that people can learn cooking. Of course, the first one is that you can learn cooking at home, which a lot of people do, a lot of people don't. A lot of people want to get professional help to really learn, make things on their own. A lot of them don't have that offering at home, therefore they would want to professionally come to a college or a space where they can make and learn the products. So but these are the offerings that you have, and these are a little different. What we have to offer is a slightly different version, or that we think is a best version, kind of worked with for us in another course, and we're trying to do that with our cookery course as well. We'll come to it, what we're doing and how we're doing it differently. Okay, so let's look at what we have to offer with what we are teaching. Okay, so we are going to do a good number of recipes from the practical point of view. We will be doing about 50 recipes, and I'll tell you what those in a gist, why, what we're doing and why we're doing those. And we'll also be doing a lot of theory here. Now, theory is extremely important. People think our kitchen food, we know, we tell you tell us, you give us the recipe, and the job is done. No, there is a lot of there's history, there is understanding the processes, there is understanding ingredients, and all of that knowledge will make your experience of cooking very rich, right? So it's extremely important that you understand that bit. So therefore we have focus on theory as well. So whether you do the course online, you do the course offline, you have to learn with us a little bit of the theory as well to understand things better. You can then go ahead and make the product better. You can sort of do your experiments which you would like to do once you've understood what needs to be done better, if you have the knowledge. Like, you need to know what is happening, why it's happening, why something is failing. All those things will come from the theoretical knowledge. So we will be looking at, and a little bit of history gives us understanding of what people did, how we can do it differently, how we can innovate it, and what happened and why they were using those things. Why have we probably stopped using some of the ingredients, or we've stopped some of the processes and we've introduced something new. All of those understanding is clear better once when we understand a little bit about the history. So we will be looking at history of Indian food, French food, which is one of the sort of pillars of cookery and cuisine, because they have really one of the cultures which who have documented and who take a lot of pride in their food culture. So they've documented so much that there is a lot of focus in everything they do food related, whether it is from cultural point of view, from process point of view. So we will look at in a gist into all of these, then history of Middle Eastern cooking, a little bit of the Chinese food, then basics of food production, which is basically, if you make sauces, how do you make those sauces? If you make soups, how do you make soups? So if you understand the basis of what goes into it, then you can replicate and make hundreds of recipes, right? So basics of these are extremely important. If you're making eggs, why is it that when you break an egg, it can, if you put it in a katori, it takes the shape of a katori. If you put it in a glass, it takes the shape of a glass. But if you put it on a hot pan, then it takes a final shape at a certain temperature. So there are science involved in that, a little bit of understanding of those things. How do you prepare it? How do you, different processes and different ways of making it gives it different texture, different taste, all those things. So that will be something that will be covered in basics of food production. Then we're particularly focusing on convenience food and packaged food, because the way we look at the course, we are fairly confident that this is a course, after you learn, you could take up, although it's a small course, it's a short term course, right? We kind of will tell you, I'll tell you how long the duration of the course is. So in comparison to the rest of the things in the market, it's a short term course. But uh, I believe in people being enterprising. That if you have a knowledge, if you have an interest, if you have a passion towards something, you should use it to best of your abilities, to sort of generate income, make business, not only in the hope of making money, but to actually be able to create something for yourself. And that is possible in various ways. You could be a fancy cloud kitchen, you could make a bottled food products and you can sell it. So that's why we're focusing on packaged food and convenience food as well. And then understanding a little bit about how do you plan a menu and things like that. So if you want to be a pop-up restaurateur, where you rent out a space and you kind of give people a feel of what you cook, you could do that as well. And in detail a little bit about food entrepreneurship, because increasingly you will be noticing yourself, and you would have noticed even in the last couple of years, increasingly people are not cooking so much at home, and increasingly people are trying to cook at home as well. So the reason is, of course, that with the life and lifestyle changes, it's becoming extremely difficult, that cooking is becoming a very important chore that is taking so much time. And oftentimes, when even if you're hiring help, you may not want to eat what they're preparing on a daily basis, or you may want to try new things, and it would be far convenient to have your food warm rather than a housewife preparing your food of in the morning and you coming in the evening and you kind of reheating and eating that food. So increasingly you would notice that people are ordering out, right? It could be from restaurants, it could be from these new home chefs, it could be from cloud kitchens, it could be any of these, right? So therefore we have focused on food entrepreneurship as well. And what you learn practically in class is about 50 recipes. We are doing restaurant style food, so the focus there is that we teach you the basic sauces of Indian, the Indian sauces of curries or gravies, and then you can mix and match and make hundreds of recipes out of that. If you know one recipe, you can make 10 curries out of that, right? So that's the focus, where we will teach you certain things that you can do. Then we're doing a little bit of Chinese food, we're doing Mexican food, because some of them are things that we have kind of acclimatized ourselves to. We're interested, we like to eat like Chinese food and things like that. Maybe even if it's an Indo-Chinese variation, we like to eat, and therefore we still have increasing number of people who would want to learn and want to order that food. Then there is Mexican food, which has some similarities to Indian food, but still it's a little different. So learning that, it's very interesting, cuisine that I really personally enjoy preparing and enjoy, eating as well. It's very very interesting. A lot of we can use lot of local produce and make interesting Mexican food. Then Italian food, where again you will learn about, in theory you learn about a lot of variants of sauces that are used in the cuisine, the French and the Italian cuisine and things like that. And Italian food, and you'll we'll teach you how to make your own fresh pastas. We'll also understand how to make. So one of the recipes that I'm going to do right now for the demo class, which I'm going to show you, is a recipe that we have made, which is it's not fresh pasta, but it's learning how to make really very very simply learning how to make the pesto sauce and the pasta. So you will learn variety of those things. Then we're also looking at some vegan and keto recipes, because people are increasingly interested in that kind of food, and therefore it'd be nice for us to know how to make that food, right? So in terms of experiencing it ourselves, and also in terms of selling the products, right? Then understanding a little bit of pickling and making preserves and jams, and nut butters, a little bit of your sauces and things like that, spice mixes. So we will be touching on these aspects, because we think you can make these, bottle these, and you can sell them as packaged food. So we are going to be looking at those recipes as well. Some of it would be probably something that we would show you, like demonstrate it to you. But definitely around 50 recipes is what you would make in our classes as well, that you learn how to make, right? We will be looking at those. So this is a general overview of the class that or the course that we are going to conduct, right? Now, who should do this course, right? We think men, women over the age of 17, whoever is interested in cooking or want to be interested, or sure, is keen on knowing about cooking, is open to, is welcome to rather do the course. It's a interesting course, and cooking is a basic life skill that I feel everybody should know, right? Everybody should be able to. It's not a chore for a certain gender, neither is it a chore for people who are only at home, or people who who cannot hire help. It's not. You could be from any demographic and you could still be interested in food. And maybe you can't cook every day of the week, but few days in the week you may want to invest your time. It's a creative process as well. You learn a little bit of the process, the methods and things like that, and then you could use your own imagination to combine things and make interesting products, right? So that is something that it'll really give people impetus who are interested in food but have no idea of how things work around the kitchen. It's a good time to sort of join a course and try learning it from a professional. So it is for somebody who even if you're not in town, you're not in Hyderabad, if you're okay, coming and staying in Hyderabad for about 16 18 weeks and being here and doing the course, it's you could do that. If you are in Hyderabad, nothing like it, but you could be anywhere else. Like for other courses, we have people traveling from within the state, across other states, coming down for a few days and experiencing how to sort of make these things, learn about these things, and then going back and starting their own thing. We've had quite a few of those people doing that as well. Now, this is for people who have basic appliances. You would require some basic setup if you are going to be baking. Of course, not when you're doing it physically in our lab. You may not need it, but to practice, you definitely do. So you can't, be living in a place where you cannot try it, right? If you are especially doing it online. If you are doing it online, you need a basic setup. If you're doing it offline, then while you're doing the course, you don't require, but to practice, you obviously require a setup. So you really, if you're interested and want to do this, then this is a very, hands-on sort of a course that you can take up if you're on a break, if you are, if you can find that few hours in the week, because we're doing classes 3 days a week, you could do it. So it's for people who are interested in culinary, arts and science, people who want to learn more. You could you could be a hobby cook. You could want to be you could be a simply a culinary enthusiast who wants to learn a little bit in a professional manner. Or if you want to start a business, you could be any of these people and you could join the course. I get a lot of people who do the course because they want to make good product and feed their family, or make interesting things for parties and things like that. So you could be any of these people and you could join the course. So the course itself will take about 14 to 16 weeks to complete. We are doing 3 days a week, and we do about 3 to 4 hours. If it's a practical class, it'll go up to three, a little over three. If it's just a theory class, which we try to avoid, we try to balance out practicals and theory together. So if it's only a theory class, it could be a shorter duration class. Then we are going to be doing theory and we're going to be doing practicals. We're going to do cuisine based classes. We're going to be doing technique based classes, menu planning and these things. We're also focusing on understanding food entrepreneurship. We're focusing on understanding flavor and culture and food from that point of view. It's a little above the just I want to learn how to make this. You also understand a little bit about where this is coming from, what has happened, how it's turned things around. Like a lot of our historical events are related to food in so many ways that we it hasn't even registered to us. And that food is it is nourishment to the body. It makes you feel good. So for your emotional well-being, it's important. You can make a career out of it. You can understand what has gone by over the years by understanding about food. So you could do all of that if you take up the course and you sort of get into the understanding of food. We will be doing the theory and practical classes. We'll also give you a few assignments which will be a little bit of research to understand better about things, to gain more knowledge, because there's so much to learn. And we're doing a short term course, but there's so much more to learn. So we will give you other ways to sort of do research and learn about things that maybe we are not covering within the course, but it would be interesting for you to learn. So that's how we're going to look at these assignments that we're giving. Then we will want to look at a business project, because if you're teaching you entrepreneurship, if we're telling you that this is what you're going to do, you could do, we are helping you build a presentation that if you really want to start a business, you don't have to, but if you want to, then you are kind of prepared to be able to do that. We'll have a practical exam to kind of assess whatever we've taught, whether you have understood it, or whether you would need uh, what have you understood, how have you understood, what are you doing, how are you presenting, all of those things through the practical exam we'll come to know. Attendance, again, for evaluation we also give importance to attendance, because we want people, it's a short duration course, you enroll because you want to enroll and not because anybody else is telling you to. And therefore we would want you to be very regular for all our classes, irrespective of theory or practical, to, and you need to be present on a daily basis to be able to really get the knowledge that we have to offer, right? So we will be giving all of these importance, and therefore think about it and be prepared that you're giving your 14 to 16 weeks to this, so you are going to give us your time, your attention, and do it with a lot of interest. What could you do if you take up the course? Well, you could, cooking, like I mentioned even before, it's one of the most important life skills. So, you knowing how to cook is a big plus in many ways. And of course, the last 2 years have taught us that. Many people started learning how to do it now. But we over the years have kind of made it into a chore, but it's not. It's a life skill that it's good to everybody, for everybody to know. Whether you can do it on a daily basis or not will depend on the time that you have and the passion that you have, also your interest in other things, right? You could start your journey to become a chef by starting this course. You definitely can become a food entrepreneur. You can make, so you can be you could start a cloud kitchen restaurant, or you could make packaged food and sell. You could start a catering business. You could start a dabba service. You could do all of these if you do the course. You could become food content creator. A lot of content creators, especially in the food space, I know they don't know a lot about food. Most of them start with only reviewing restaurants and food and saying, hey, this is good, this is bad, based on their personal preferences most often. And then eventually people learn how to, and all those things. There are some people who've always been interested and have immense knowledge, and have learned professionally, and they're doing it, and then they move into content creation rather than making the product itself. So you could do that as well. You could also be somebody who can get into content creation, and you could be somebody who sort of make these content. And to make the content, you will have the knowledge if you have done the course. You could set up your own manufacturing unit for packaged food and things like that. Increasingly people are looking at convenience food. You would see the market has grown so much for so many things, so many things that have better shelf life and things like that. So you could you could also plan to do that, whether it's nut butters or preserves or pickles or batters and so many other things. That is also one of the things that one can look at. Of course, you need a food technologists and other help to be able to set up that business, but this could be a starting point for you as well. Now, why I say what I say, and why I think we should do this course, we should do this course with us. One of the reasons is that we have tried to make the course in a concise, precise manner, so that you don't have to spend a really long time doing the course in a stipulated amount of time, which you can take. Break from your work that you've been doing, or while you're doing that, it becomes a lot more easier. And this is something that we've learned from our own experience here, that we have people who are working in the first half and come in the second half to do the course, or they join work in the second half, in the first half they come and do the course. In some of our courses we also have the weekend option, depending on how many students we get for that. So there are various ways of doing that, right? So we therefore we've noticed that people are interested in wanting to do the course, because generally our class age group is 17 to 61. It has been, right? Of course there is a sort of general sort of number that is there, that people of a certain age are more, but we've had people from all walks of life, men, women, come up and take the course. Also, our trainers, our faculty, our teachers are coming from that space. We're all done our courses in culinary or hotel management, have learned, have worked in the industry, have had our businesses, continue to have it, or have had worked in five-star hotels, restaurants across the country, even abroad. And we bring that experience to the table. Most of our classes are hands-on, very few demo classes. Most of the classes you will have your own table and your setup and things to make for, you will get to make those for yourself. So which is something that most often it's lacking. Even if it's a IHM college, you'll have rows of people standing together and they will watch somebody making. One person will make one thing, others will watch that, then someone else will make another thing. We don't follow that structure. We want people to, at least the basics, we want people to make by themselves, learn, make their mistakes, because we truly, truly, truly believe that when you make mistakes is when you learn, because that's when you understand what is going wrong. And when you know what is going wrong, that's when you are able to actually learn. Okay, this is what it is, this is how you should do, and all those things. And we are coming from that ideology where we are encouraging people, in our existing courses as well, we encourage people to start their businesses, and people have done that, and people have been successful, and we are very happy and proud of them. And we would want to do that for our cookery course as well, that we have and also our setup is everything that is needed, but it is not overcrowded. It is not a setup where you will come and learn in a place where a gadget is costing you lakhs of rupees, and how are you going to replicate that? You will want then have to make that kind of investments. That's why our focus has been to be able to make things in the most reasonable way, so that people can really experience it firsthand, whether it's in their houses or they're making it in a commercial space. We will of course guide people if they want to have commercial setups and commercial requirements for that setup. We will help them with that, but it's very important to get a starting point, and a starting point which is reasonably priced. Most often it happens that people buy all these fancy gadgets and things, and then they don't end up making anything. That is not a place we are happy with. We want people to have functional setups and people to make things in that manner, right? So, and that's the kind of setup we have, and we encourage people to at least have that setup and start. And then, whenever they want to upgrade, we'll definitely help them in understanding what other fancy gadgets they can, buy for a commercial setup. All right. So this is more or less what I have on mind. I rather had on mind that I wanted to share with you with reference to the cookery course. I'll quickly just repeat a couple of things, and then I'll move on to showing you a small demo of how the online class is conducted. Okay. So quick discussions would be on one. This is a course which we would take about 4 months to finish. We kind of we do it. We will have a offline version of the class, and we will be also, if people are interested, we will be doing the online classes as well. The online class might take a slightly longer duration. Our focus is to complete everything. If it takes a little longer, so be it. We focus is always on teaching something well rather than finishing something just to be on time. To be able to do justice to that is very, very important. So, if you join the course, we will tell you about what we will obviously show you what the setup is like and things like that. The theory part is going to be, taught in class through a PowerPoint presentation, like something similar to what I just did. And also, we'll have some notes if required. And we also share this with our students. And the practicals We share the recipe. If it's a physical class, we give it at, on, while we are making the product. If it's a practical class online, we give it in advance. We tell you this is the, this is a set of recipes that we will be making in the coming few weeks. So this is the equipments that are needed. These are the ingredients that are needed for that recipe, and that's the process. And we give you those details, and that's how you procure your things, and then you make it with us during the class is going on. This is for the online. For the offline, you don't have to do anything. You have to. So you have you pay for the ingredients in advance when you come to the to the class, physical class, if you come to our offline class. And you everything will be brought by the by the department, and you would have everything available. You will just have to make, you will learn how to make, and you will make, and once you make, you take that product home. So that's the sort of format we will follow. Now, I will give this. What I will do is I'll show you how we do the class for our online students. So you'll get a gist of how that class goes on. And once I'm done with that, I will quickly ask you guys to type questions, or on the chat. You drop your questions, and I will happily answer those questions. Okay? We'll do it that way. So I'll put on. So what we do is we like for our students to kind of make the product with us when we have the class. So that's why we the production part. Either me or one of my faculties have made the product, and we have captured that, and we run that during the class to show you how to do the product. So once we will show you how to do the product, we'll discuss the product, we'll do all of that, and then you start making the product, and we watch you do the product. And we give you feedback of how you need to do, what you're doing, how things are going, if it's right, if it needs to be modified, what do you need to do. All those things we're doing in the class. So that we can focus completely on you. What we are doing is we have, recorded the version of the preparation, and then we will teach you along the way. So I'll quickly show you that. So like I told you, we are making penne pasta. Okay, so I'll show you how to make the the pesto penne pasta. So we'll show you how to make the pesto sauce, which you can use in many ways. I'll discuss that along the way, and then how you make the pasta as well. And then after that, if you have queries, feel free to ask me those. All right. So give me half a minute. I'll just quickly. So here are the major ingredients that we require for the penne pasta, right? So we are right now toasting the pine nuts. Pine nuts is the major sort of the nut. Usually that's the nut that is used. Of course, if you don't get pine nuts, you could use walnuts and almonds also. People use sunflower seeds as well. So the major ingredient to make the pesto sauce is the pine nut, and since this is a basil pesto, we will be using basil. So the key ingredients are the pine nuts. So we have used pine nuts, and like I said, at home, roasted almonds, roasted walnuts, sunflower seeds to make a healthier version of the pesto is used. That could be used. So these are the ingredients that go to into making the pesto sauce. So pine nuts went in. Then you saw one whole garlic was peeled, and the garlic has gone in. Then we will go ahead and we'll put the uh, basil, right? So barring the very very strong stems, we will put all of the basil into making the pesto. So traditionally, like I said, pine nuts are used, but you can replace it. Traditionally, again, basil is used, but people have used coriander, to make the pesto, and people have used other herbs as well to make the pesto. So you could do that as well, but this is the traditional one. All right, and then apart from after these three ingredients, you use usually to make the make the pesto. We use some hard cheese, mostly Parmigiano Reggiano. But if you don't get Parmesan cheese, you could use, processed cheese. But these days, it's a lot easier to procure. You have a lot of Indian brands that have, started making cheese and things like that. So you could use that. Now you could use vegan cheese and all those things as well if you're making a vegan version of this pesto. Then you would have to replace it with the vegan version of the cheese, which again, increasingly, especially in sort of tier one cities, it's easy to procure. You can manage to get it in superstores and things like that. So if you can get your hands on it, nothing like it. So this is, you can use a food processor, you can use a mixer grinder, and you can, kind of blend it. Ideally, you use a food processor, but if not, you can use a mixer grinder. And this is olive oil. Okay, so olive oil is so you will never put any water to make the pesto. You'll always add olive oil to make this nice creamy sauce. Now this pesto, here we are using it as a sauce for the pasta, but you could use it, you could make use of it as a dressing for a salad. You could make use of it as, or you can apply it on toast. You could use it as a filling in some savory product you're going to make. You could do that. In fact, you could also cook your proteins, whether it's paneer or fish, meat, whatever you eat. You could cook that and you can put it in pesto, and you can, eat only, the protein in some pesto sauce. So you can use this in many ways. In fact, you can just bottle this pestos, and you can sell this pesto as well. In fact, to bottle it, what you need to do is you need to kind of, put it in a bottle and sort of top it with olive oil so that it doesn't loses its color. You would, if you have tried making pesto, you would notice that once you've made it, after some time, you would notice that the color of the pesto becomes a little, it moves towards brown color. Now, this is not that the pesto has gone bad. This is happening only because what is happening is the basil leaves are getting oxidized. And when they're getting, so basically, when they're getting coming in contact with the oxygen, they are turning brown in color. That's why it turns brown in color. And that's the reason why when pesto is made, it is kept in a glass container and it is topped with olive oil so that, there is no contact of the oxygen onto the pesto. So you could do that as well. So that's why if you buy these as bottles, as packaged bottles, you'll always notice a lot of olive oil on top, which is very similar to how we're doing the pickles, right? Where we make our pickles, we put a lot of oil on top and we keep it. So that's how even with pesto, it's done. That you put oil and you keep it. So you could now, like I said, you could use this. You could even use it as simply as, layer it between two slices of bread and make a pesto sandwich, right? So those also can be done. So once the pesto sauce is ready, you will keep it aside and you will start with the making of the pasta. Now we're making penne here. So what you do is you take sufficient amount of water, which is usually 3 or 4 times minimum than the quantity of the pasta that we are putting. Ideally, for every 100 gram of pasta, you should use a liter of water. Okay, we've drizzled some oil and we will be putting some salt because that the oil will keep the pasta from sticking, and salt because you want to flavor the pasta with the salt. Pasta itself doesn't have salt in it, and if you don't add salt at the boiling stage, but if you add too much salt later, it's not going to solve the problem. Later we will add salt, but that's only to adjust the the flavoring, so to say, right? So once this comes to a boil, we'll put the pasta to cook, and ideally the about 150 grams of pasta would take about in this bowl of water will take about uh, 7.5 minutes to cook. So once the water comes to a boil, we'll put the pasta and we will let it cook. Okay, we'll just give it a quick turns, just so that it's not sticking together. And I know that increasingly you will see recipes where people are using this water to kind of or they're just putting water and cooking pasta and on the go, just like how we dry the water and make rice. They try to do it that way, but that's not the ideal way of doing it. It has a lot of residual starch that stays over, which kind of could make that could give you a very powdery taste and things like that. So this is the nice traditional way of cooking it. When the water comes to a boil, you add a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt, and then you let the pasta cook. And you may have, if you have tried making pasta or seen recipes, may have come across the term al dente, which is just about cooked, or about a little mildly undercooked. That's how people traditionally cook their pastas. If you see pastas which are broken, which means they're overcooked, you don't want to, they become very slimy, they don't have a bite, you don't get a bite. For you to get a bite, it should be just about cooked. So you kind of stop at that point. So while it's cooking, you break and you eat it and you see just about when it still has a bite, that's when you stop. Now once the pasta is cooked, what you do is you because you have to now make the sauce and then add it. What you can do is you could keep a bowl of small cold water next to you, and you check that your pasta is al dente ready, because if you just drain it, the chance are it will stick. Okay, and also if you just drain it, it'll still be cooking, which you've already reached the point where the cooking is done. Therefore you put it in cold water and you set it aside. Okay, oil of it, you do that. Then you take a pan, you take some bit of olive oil. Now you could at this stage add some vegetables if you want. You could add a lot of garlic if you want, but when it's pesto pasta, you already have garlic in the in the pesto sauce, so you don't need to. But if you want to make it extremely garlicky, you can do that at this stage. You could add mushrooms, you could add cherry tomatoes, you could add any other veggies if you're interested in. You could do that. Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll cook the sauce to make it into a sauce. We'll cook the pesto a little bit in the olive oil, and then we will add the pasta to it. Once you cooked it a little bit and you see the oil kind of the oil coming out, which means that the cooking is in the process of completion, you will add your boiled pasta, right? Give it a nice stir, mix it well. Commercially, you'll see people putting cream or white sauce into this, but when you say it's a pesto pasta, it's only with pesto sauce. You could do that. You could make it creamy. Now we add a tablespoon of butter here. This will add to the the saltiness. So therefore you will have to be very cautious of how much salt you add, and this will also help in bringing all the sauce together, and it kind of also makes the color nicer, right? You can season it a little bit, uh, at this stage. If you like, now in India we add chili flakes to everything. You could add chili flakes, but ideally it's just peppers added, and this is nicely mixed together and it's served like this. This is the whole dish. I know that in most places we go, pasta is served with garlic bread on the side. This itself is a whole dish. Pasta being served with garlic bread is like biryani served with roti. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, but very similar. So this is served just by itself, and you can enjoy it. So you see, after adding the butter, all of that sauces come together. Now, traditionally, again, Parmigiano Reggiano, which is the one of the hard cheeses from the region of Parma in Italy, Reggiano, a few of those areas specifically make this, aged minimum 12 months aged cheese that is used. If it is easily available, you could use it. If not, then you can use commercial block of cheese, and you can, top it with a little bit of cheese on top. And here we finished with just a cherry tomato on the top. You could, like I told you, you could add a lot of cherry tomatoes at that stage when you would put olive oil, and you could make it part of the dish itself. This is just to just add it as a garnish. So here our dish is ready and ready to be devoured. So this is how, in a nutshell, if I have to tell you, this is how we do our the online class. So we run through it once again. We go recipe, we break down the recipe. Because we give you the recipe in advance, we discuss the recipe. We discuss the process step by step, and then students start making, and we observe what you are doing. And basis the observation, we tell individually people what they're doing, how they're doing it, and all those things. So usually, we don't have more than 10 12 students in our online offline classes. Usually that's the number that we have. We can manage about 15 students at a time, so we can give everybody that equal attention of what they are doing, whether online or offline. We can give them that attention as to what they are doing, how they're doing, what differently they need to do, what are the mistakes. All of those things can be taught to people on one-on-one basis. So now if people have questions, what you need to do is you need to go to the live chat part, and you need to type out your question, and I will answer those questions to you. So please go ahead and let me know what questions do you have in mind, and we'll answer those for you. Any questions? Hi Ratna. Hi Dipti. Hi Sanjit. Hi Shushrita. Hi Aman's Creativity. Please feel free to ask me questions. I'll help you answer all of those. Any questions, guys? Come on. I'm here. I'll wait it out. I'll wait for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm hoping some of you who have been here from the beginning will have some questions on mind they would want to ask. Hi, hi, uh, BVS Pro. Do you have a question? Hi, Sandeep. Any question you have on mind? Sandeep, you will have to connect. and also BVS Pro, you will have to connect with our student counselor, and they will tell you about the course fees, because we have different formats and different fee structure for both these formats, online, offline. They'll give you more details on the course structure. So you'll have to connect with the student counselor, and they'll help you with that. And time period, somebody asked me what's the time period. It's if we are doing the course, or in a physical class, it's about 4 months. If it's online, then 4 months plus a little bit, extra time sometimes is required when we do it online, because we go a little slow with online class. So it's about, but it's about 4 months, sure. And like I told you, because if you're doing it offline, then you have ingredient fee and the fee structure. And if you're doing it online, then you don't pay the ingredient fee, because you have to buy everything on your own. So the fee structure is slightly different. Please connect with the student counselor, they'll help you out with those details, and also any other details that you have in mind. And if you are somebody who's really serious and has many questions and want to talk one on one, connect with the student counselor. They will connect you to me, and we can have a one on one conversation also, if you have any doubts with regards to the course, and if you have anything on mind that you feel that you want me to answer you personally, we can do that as well, right? So I'll wait for another 5 minutes, and after that, I'll stop the stream. We'll wait for 5 minutes. If anybody has any other questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, Venkata, the video usually is available after the live session also. You will have to come to our Hamstech page and look for it. You'll find it. Any other questions, guys? I hope I've answered your question. Anything else you would like to know? So the people who have attended, do you guys cook, or are you interested in cooking? Are you interested in taking up a course? Tell me in your chat, what what are you looking at, and what was your purpose of joining the live? It'll be great to know what people are interested in, what they are looking at. Please feel free to drop a message on the live chat. Okay, Ratna has asked how many recipes. So, Ratna, about 50 recipes we will be doing, that you will be doing yourself in class, and there will be some recipes that we will be doing as a demo, that we will be teaching. So, 50 plus recipes for sure. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, like I said, 50 plus recipes. Another person has asked me about how many recipes, 50 plus recipes. So, about 50, most of it you will be making, few of them we will be showing you as a demo, right? And all the cuisines that I mentioned, we are going to do that. We're going to learn, Indian, Italian, Indian restaurant, because Indian itself is extremely vast. Therefore, very generic Indian restaurant. Of course, if you have queries, we will be more than happy to answer that for you. Italian, Mexican, Chinese, uh, uh, diet specific, so vegan and keto, all those things. Okay, I'll wait out for another 2 minutes, and then I'll stop the stream. 2 minutes, my last 2 minutes. Anything that anyone else could think of, have questions on? It could be any recipe related also. I have no problems. If you have any thoughts or questions on any preparation or anything, I'd be more than happy to answer that as well for you. Ratna has asked when is the course starting. We intend to start one of the batches by the end of this month. But we need a certain number. Quite frankly, we need some students because it's fun for us all to teach and for you to learn as well. When there are a few people, few people will have few queries. I always call it the idea of having people to make the mistakes. Different people will make different mistakes, and that's how you will learn. That's one of the best things about classroom learning, whether online or offline. The best thing about classroom learning is that you alone don't make mistakes, everybody does, and when they do, we get to learn. So I need a certain number of people in the batch. So the we are batches, people are taking admissions, and if I get that number, I start end of this month, and that's what we're hoping with both the online and the offline class. I'm Preeti Shetty. I thought at the beginning I mentioned my name, but if I haven't, my bad. I am Preeti Shetty. I run the culinary department. Okay, my 2 minutes are up actually. So what I will do is, like I suggested, if people have queries that they feel they don't want to put it on chat, you can connect with our education consultants, and you can tell them that you want to talk to somebody with regarding the cookery course, and they will direct you to me, and then you can talk to me and you can solve your queries. All right. I hope it was an interesting session, and if not more, you had as much fun as I did discussing what we are going to do. I'm extremely excited. I hope that some of the people I have, uh, you know, seen here on the chat do join the class. There is one last question in baking. Okay. Ratna is asking if I'm planning to start advanced course in baking. There is a plan. We really want to because our the fundamental course is doing very well. So we have our own students who are waiting to do advanced baking. That is the plan. Once I get the cookery course up and running, that is the next step in the way. That's what we're going to be doing. Okay. All right. Uh, Great day to everybody who tuned in. And if you're interested, please connect with us. If you know other people who are interested, please spread the message. It would be great for us to actually, for people who have been here, to be able to join the course and for us to do some interesting learning. Thank you a lot for being here, for being patient. It's always a difficult task to sit and listen to somebody, right? So thanks for all your patience, and hoping to see some of you. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.